Hello, AP Environmental Science students. In today's screencast, we're going to begin talking about Chapter 5, which is Biodiversity and Evolution. All of today's notes are based off of Living in the Environment, the 16th edition by Miller and Spoolman. So the first section of Chapter 5 discusses how species interact. We have 5 types of species interactions: competition, predation, parasitism, mutualism, and commensalism. All of these affect the resource use and population sizes of these species in an ecosystem. So species interact in 5 major ways. So first is interspecific competition, and this occurs when members of 2 or more species interact to gain access to the same limited resources, such as food, light, or space. There's also predation, occurs when a member of one species, the predator, feeds directly on all or part of the member of the prey, or another species. We have parasitism, which occurs when one organism, the parasite, feeds on the body or the energy used by another living organism called the host, usually living in or on the host. We have mutualism, where we have an interaction that benefits both species by providing each with food, shelter, or some sort of resource. There's also something called gut inhabitant mutualism, which is bacteria in the digestive tracts of animals help to digest their host's food. In turn, bacteria receive a home and food from their host. Then we have commensalism, which is an interaction that benefits one species but has little, if any, effect on another. So let's talk a little bit more about competition. So, like I said, competition occurs when members of 2 or more species interact to gain access to the same resource. Sometimes this competition can result in physical fights or physical competition, but mostly competition occurs because one species is more efficient than the other than gaining access to that resource. Don't forget, we've learned about the competitive exclusion principle already, and that says no 2 species can occupy the same ecological niche for very long. And if they do, generally what ends up happening is either one species will migrate, adapt, or die out or go extinct. When we talk about the predator-prey relationship, we have to talk about the ways that predators capture prey and how prey avoid capture. So predators can capture prey by walking, swimming, flying, kind of the obvious ones. Then there's a method called pursuit and ambush, which is where they run or fly and hunt, and it's usually done in packs. So think about cheetahs. They run after their prey. Generally, they hunt more than one cheetah at a time, so they can kind of surround and ambush their prey. There's camouflage, where they hide in plain sight by blending in with their environment, and then they can quickly grab their prey, like snowy owls. They're white, they blend in with their background. They can kind of sneak up on whatever they're trying to capture. And then there's chemical warfare. So they use poison to attack, like venomous snakes will bite their prey. So they're immobilized and then they can eat them. Prey species have also evolved ways to avoid capture. So camouflage, they blend in or change color to avoid attack. Think of like a stick bug. It looks like part of the tree, so it's not seen. Chemical warfare, they deter predators with chemicals that are poisonous, irritating, foul-smelling, or bad tasting. So stink bugs emit a really bad, stinky odor. Octopi will squirt ink so they can kind of disappear. Warning coloration, usually bad tasting, bad smelling, toxic, or stinging prey are bright colored. Think of like a monarch butterfly. Monarchs are not tasty to birds. There's a biologist named Edward O. Wilson who gave 2 major rules for evaluating the dangers of an unknown organism. So first, if it's small and strikingly beautiful, it's probably poisonous. And if it's strikingly beautiful and easy to catch, it's probably deadly. There are other ways that prey species can avoid capture. Now we're on the 4th. We have mimicry, where organisms evolve protection by looking or acting like another poisonous or bad tasting or whatever organism. The viceroy butterfly looks a lot like the monarch, and like I said on a few slides ago, the monarch is very bad tasting to birds, so the viceroy mimics him, so birds think that the viceroy is also bad tasting. We have deceptive looks, where we scare off predators based on appearance. So moths look like they have really large eyes on the back of their wings. This makes predators think they're much bigger than they are, and they avoid them. And then there's deceptive behavior, where they scare off predators with their actions. So for example, blowfish puff up to appear bigger to their predators. So to survive, predators must eat the prey, and prey must avoid becoming a meal. As a result, they exert natural selection pressure on each other. And when this happens, we call this coevolution. And this is when populations of two different species interact over a long period of time, which cause changes in the gene pool of one of the species, which will cause changes in the gene pool of the other species. This causes each species to become more competitive to help avoid or reduce competition with that other species.